Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. Almost live on TikTok. If you guys see me looking everywhere, it is because I like to multitask. And I am live on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok right now. We are live for Mega Money Tuesdays, where I offer you guys free money coaching. I answer all of your most burning money questions. I'm going to give it a couple seconds for some more people to join. I don't know what the heck is going on with my hair today, guys, but bear with me. Hello, Brianna. Amazing. Maya. Hello, Lauren. Hello. Okay. Let's see here. Ashley. Amazing. Hey, guys. How's it going? Okay. So, it's been a minute since I did a live. It has been a minute. I think I didn't go live for the last 2 months. I have been working like freaking crazy. I finished the personal finance book, guys. It's going to be released in probably fall 2022. Hey, but I'm so excited for it to come out. But that was like a freaking labor of love. I like hyper focused and got that written out. I think I did like almost 60,000 words in like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's in the editing process right now, but it's gonna be freaking amazing. I'm so excited for you guys to see that, but there's been so much stuff going on behind the scenes. No Budget Babe has had an incredible freaking year. We have served, I think at this point, over 90,000 students. 90,000 students in 2021, guys, that's freaking crazy. That is so crazy. 90,000 of you who have decided that you are going to get your financial shit together. And remember, money gets to be easy when we have the roadmap to success. I promise you, money is a skill, right? If you don't know it right now, that's okay, because you're going to learn it and you're going to develop it. And that's the beautiful thing about it being a skill. All right. So you are probably on this page if you're new here because you've heard my story, all right, and you are wondering if it really was possible for you to have the same kind of success. Maybe you saw that I was $40,000 in debt, feeling crushed by my student loan payments with $0 in savings, but a lot of cute clothes in the closet. You probably also saw that through a lot of trial and error, hard work, self-learning, that I was able to turn it all around and save my first six figures, $100,000 by the time I was 25. From there, I then paid off my $40,000 of debt in 18 months. I paid for my wedding in cash. I bought my first home that I then flipped for $150,000 profit. I felt financially stable enough to finally have a baby where my husband and I were both able to take time off. And I really never thought that that kind of success was possible for me. I didn't. I thought that someone who came from kind of like the middle class life that I came from was always going to struggle with money. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about my story. Pretty candid about sharing it. I was a high school dropout. I left home at the age of 16. It was a very tumultuous home life, so I lived on my own. Dropped out of school to work full time and support myself. And oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. And it's just, if you had have asked me at 16 if I would be where I am today, I would have laughed at you. I definitely would have laughed at you. I was partying too much at 16. Again, like I said, dropped out of school to work full time and support myself. I thought that that was the kind of life that I was going to live. I thought that I was always going to struggle with money. I thought that I was always going to live paycheck to paycheck because that's what I knew. That's what I saw, right? And you know, a lot of times we don't realize it, but the environments that we grow up in and what we see as a child really impact what we believe is not only possible for us, but it even creates these like internal rules and these internal money scripts that we use to run our lives without us even realizing. So by the time that we are 7 years old, all of these money rules or money scripts become the rules that we live our life. And it's kind of crazy to me when you actually think about it because you know, if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and you have never taken the time to go back and rewrite these money scripts because you didn't realize you had them, you are still living life the same way that 7-year-old you saw the world. So if you were told all the time by your parents, like, we don't have money for that, or money doesn't grow on trees, or credit cards are a gift from God and they're free money, like whatever it is that you are told or that you see, if you always see your parents fighting about money or struggling with money or any of that kind of stuff, that is going to help shape those rules and what you think is actually possible for you, whether you realize it or not. So it's so important, guys, and that's why I'm so proud of you all for being here, because it is so important to take the time to rewrite those money scripts and rules, because what we believe about money becomes all of the results that we will have in life with money, because that's how we will act and react, right? We will follow these rules. So that is so, so, so important to remember. I made it to where I am today without any help, without any handouts, all because I learned how money works. So I'm sitting here today, I'm 31 now. My birthday was in November, but I'm sitting here in my 30s, a millionaire, right? And I never thought that that would have been possible for me, guys. Like, my dad hadn't worked since the time I was probably 14 years old. He was very sick. My mom worked like cafeteria jobs, and she worked, she drove like a school bus and stuff for a while. So there was never like a ton of money in our household. And my mom for a long time supported our family of four, right, on her income. And she's still kind of doing the same thing right now. And I always saw them struggle, and I always thought that that was going to be something that I had to do as well. And that's why I went to university. That's why I went to go get like the degree and the corporate job, because I thought that that was how I was going to change all of that. That like I was going to rewrite my story by going to school, getting the corporate job, doing what so many of us are told is like the solution, when in fact, it wasn't. Like, it's part of the puzzle, right? To be able to go and increase your education and be able to make more money. But if you don't know what to do with that money, you're never actually going to be any further ahead. So there I was, graduate from university, and I have $40,000 of student loans, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do to be able to pay these. I don't know how I'm going to pay these, let alone pay these, but I wanted to buy a house. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have kids. And I was like, how am I ever going to be able to do any of these things when I'm being weighed down by this student debt? Now, you guys know my story. I ended up going and getting my real estate license. So that really fast-tracked my success. But we have had so many students in our programs making $20,000 a year, $30,000 a year, who were really able to thrive using the tips, the tools, the strategies, and the methodologies that we were able to teach them. So don't think that you need to have a huge income to be able to be successful with money. That's a huge myth that I want to dispel for you guys. Like, I know that my success was fast-tracked because I increased my income but did not increase my lifestyle, but that doesn't mean that you can't be successful with a different level of income as well. So I really want to make that point clear, because I know there's so many people who are like, well, I make $20,000 a year, I'm never going to be able to get ahead. And no, there are still so many things that you guys can do to be able to get ahead there. I don't know if you guys have taken our free challenge yet. It's called 30 Days to 100K. It is 3 days of training and then 30 days of like step-by-step instructions, what to do to start setting yourself up for success to build that first six-figure bank account. It's absolutely free. It's linked in our bio on TikTok. It's on Facebook as well. It's on our bio and Instagram. I can't speak today. What the fuck? In Instagram. It's everywhere. So go and sign up and take it. The students that are coming through that are saving thousands of dollars. And again, it is absolutely free, guys. So 100% if you were looking for somewhere to start, that is an amazing resource for you. Another amazing resource. We have like, my team always yells at me. They're like, why do you put out so much free stuff? Most people will do like one freebie and it'll be like a one-pager kind of thing. And I'm like, no, I have like a 16-page ebook that's free. I have, 2 free courses, another free training. We have a free training, another one coming out in January. Because guys, my goal here is, even if we don't work together in like a paid capacity, I still want to make sure that everyone is winning. So obviously, our paid programs are where you get access to myself and the team and the step-by-step how-tos, but we still have so much information available to you guys for free on our TikTok, on our Instagram, on Facebook. And then if you go onto our website under freebies, there are all of the courses and the ebook and all of that kind of stuff that you can download to really start changing your financial situation. So if you have not taken those, go and do it now, because it will change your frickin' life. Okay. We're going to get into all of the money stuff, the saving, the investing questions in just a minute, but first I really wanted to address something. So I posted a video the other day and I got a ton of messages. I got a ton of messages from you guys saying how much you appreciated it, saying how much you needed that shit. In the video, I talked about everyone having different timelines, everyone having different journeys, and to stop comparing yourselves to where someone else is. Okay, stop comparing yourselves to where someone else is. And I know you know that shit. I know you already know that. On some level, you know that what you're seeing online is someone's highlight reel. It's not their whole story, okay? But I'm here to reiterate that for you because sometimes it takes someone else telling us something that we already know or have already been told to really have it sink in. So let's talk about this for a second, all right? We need to understand that different people have different starting points, different people have different goals, different people have different resources. And even though we may know that, it doesn't always change how we feel about ourselves, okay? So what I want to make sure is that while I'm teaching you what to do to win with money, I'm also helping you realize that success is possible for you too. Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes, you. Yes, you. All of you, okay? I know that there are people watching this right now who believe that they have to be the exception, that success is not possible for them, that no matter what they do, they will never be successful. And whether that's based on past experiences, what you saw as a child, some childhood trauma stuff coming up, what you were told by someone else, I want you to know that that line of thinking is a bunch of bullshit, okay? It is a bunch of bullshit. And I think I realized over this last week how fucking powerful it can be to have somebody else just like hear you. You know what I mean? Like hear you, see you, and validate you, and validate your feelings, validate your experiences. I started, vulnerable, but I started therapy a couple weeks ago, dealing with the childhood trauma stuff. Now I probably should have dealt with that a long time ago, but here I am. And I didn't even realize the power that speaking to somebody and just having them validate my fucking experiences would do for me, right? Because for so long as a kid, I was like gaslit, and it's like, no, that didn't happen, or that didn't happen the way you said it did, or whatever. And just to be able to tell someone what happened and have them listen and have them tell you, yeah, that must have been really hard. Yeah, that must have been really difficult. Yeah, that really sucks. Was just like mind blowing. I'm like, I feel so much better already. Why have I been waiting years to do this? That is fucking amazing. So I want to be able to do that for you guys too. I want to validate your experience. Yeah, life is fucking hard right now for us. You know, as millennials, as Gen Z, we're coming in and we're coming into a world where the housing market is fucking insane, where wages are low and stagnant, where we have crippling fucking student loans that we were told to take on without ever telling us to think about the ROI of the fucking program that we were taking. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind a little bit to think that we are in this kind of a situation. And I will tell you guys, for a long time, I saw myself as a victim in that situation. I was so angry. I was so angry at like my parents for not setting me up differently, because I would see friends who had parents that were like paying their phone bill and paying for their car insurance and like paying their rent or whatever, and I'm like, I've been paying rent since I was 16 years old and I'm fucking angry about it. It's expensive. I was mad that I had student loans. I was mad that the government let student loans be so predatory. I was mad that the housing prices were so high. I was mad at so many things. And I realized after that staying angry and staying in that victim mode was never going to get me the life that I wanted. Now, we can work to change a broken system while also learning how to play the game to win, okay? And I think that that is so important for you guys to remember, is that we can work to change a broken system. If this shit sucks, yeah, let's change it. But also, let's not be martyrs, right? Let's not be martyrs. Let us figure out the way to win so that we can set ourselves up for success while also making it better for future generations. Because it's going to take time. It's going to take time, okay? This is why I share so much of my story with you guys, okay? Why I'm so candid, because I want you to see that, yes, regular people who didn't have all the resources and all of the things and all of the family and all of the support, okay, can have things that truly change their lives, right? Can really change their lives and go from wherever you are right now feeling stuck to being able to live that dream life, okay? You can do amazing things, you can win with money, you can live your dream life. And again, guys, if you had asked me at 16 where I would be today, I definitely would not have fucking said here. At 16, I was a high school dropout, working full-time to support myself, moved out of my parents' house, partying too much, trying to recover from a tumultuous childhood, and I had no goals. Okay? Yes, therapy is a wonderful thing. I was so scared of it for so long, but it's been amazing. The way I'm looking at it is that I didn't develop these skills, that I was never taught these skills to like self-regulate and, you know, handle my anger and my emotions and that kind of thing. And now I am there learning the skills. So it's been amazing. I didn't have any goals and stuff before, guys. Like I literally had nothing going on. And now I am a self-made millionaire. I'm sitting here at 31, a self-made millionaire. I'm in a 7-figure company. I employ a dozen incredible people. I have helped over 90,000 students. And now all of this success came after my personal financial success because I wanted to teach you guys how I did what I did through investing, through saving, through putting my money in the right places, in real estate and in investing in stocks and all of that kind of stuff. I'm about to be a published author. I am a mother. I'm a homeowner. I'm a wife. Like, guys, you can change your life, what you want in your life, whatever that is. And it doesn't have to be fucking G-Wagons and Louboutins. Like, don't think, when I talk about like you living your rich life, don't think that it needs to be G-Wagons and Louboutins. It can simply be, you know, spending the weekend at the beach with your friends without having to worry about where your next dollar is coming from. It can simply be, you know, not having to work overtime, okay? It can simply be not being scared to open the bills. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I want you to think about your dream life. I want you to think about where you are right now, where you want to be in the future, and then how we can bridge that fucking gap, okay? How can we bridge that gap? I am not here because I am smarter or different or better, okay? I am simply here because I decided that the path that I was on wouldn't be my story, and I took the time to learn what I needed to learn to change my situation, okay? Because until you believe it's possible, you're never going to take action. This all starts with you believing that this is possible for you, okay? That whatever you want in life is possible for you. You will never take action until you believe that it is possible. You will self-sabotage, you'll think of all of the reasons why you can't, and it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you have to understand that you get to have your dreams. You just have to learn the best way to work for them, okay? You need to stop comparing yourself to everyone else and start looking at where you are going, okay? You need to understand that you are going to be the winner in your story once you decide that you're going to be the winner in your fucking story. Ultimately, babes, money is a tool, okay? And we use that tool to create our dream life and our happiness. Why? Because what else is there? What else is there besides happiness in this life? What else are we doing all of this for, right? You are stronger than you give yourself credit for, and you will do amazing things once you give yourself permission to stop playing small. So at some point, right, we need to get real with the understanding that our actions are creating the life that we have today, okay? And if we don't like it, only our actions can be the things that take us up. Stop treating yourself like you've fallen behind because you haven't. Start thinking of this as the beginning of your journey. You have the ability to create a different tomorrow. So start thinking about that you in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. What do they want? Okay? Start setting them up for success. You can still live today and achieve your goals tomorrow. And I have so many people who are always like, I'm not gonna save money because I'm gonna enjoy my life today. I still enjoyed my life. I still traveled. I still shopped. I still had time with my friends. I still did all of the things. And it's just crazy, guys. Like I still did all of the things. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be, thinking of saving as, preventing yourself from getting something. Saving is not depriving yourself today. It's giving yourself a gift in the future. Okay? Where was I here? Okay, I wanted to talk about one last thing really, really quick. I have my notes on my screen. I want to give you guys an example. So, a lot of us are scared about taking responsibility, right? We're scared about taking radical responsibility because we believe that taking radical responsibility for where we are right now means taking the blame. Okay, and I want you to see that there's a difference. Okay, so imagine you are at a crosswalk. You need to cross the street, you're at the crosswalk, and you wait for the little, you press the button, you wait for the little guy to pop up, you're like, okay, the light's green, I get to go, you walk across the street. As you're walking across the street, you're doing everything right, okay? But as you were walking across the street, somebody runs a red and they hit you, okay? And you break both of your legs, you're in the hospital, and in the hospital, they're like, okay, you know what, don't worry, we fixed your legs, you're gonna be fine, but you need to do 5 months of physio. And you're like, 5 months of physio? I'm not doing 5 months of fucking physio. I did everything right. I went to the crosswalk, I pushed the button, I waited for the light to go green. I shouldn't have to spend the next 5 months of my life in physio. I shouldn't have to do that. And you're right, you shouldn't have to do that. You are the victim in that situation. But by you choosing to not go to physio, by you choosing to not take radical responsibility for your actions that come after that, you're putting yourself in a position where maybe you walk with a cane, maybe you walk with a limp, maybe you're in pain for the rest of your life, maybe your employment is less somehow because you're not able to, because you're in pain or whatever, because you didn't take radical responsibility. Remember, there is a difference between taking radical responsibility for the actions that come after versus taking the blame. It's not your fault that you got hit by the car. That sucks. You are the victim. But it is your responsibility for everything that comes after that. And making that distinction for me has been the difference for everything, has made the biggest difference in my life. Taking radical responsibility, getting gritty, and getting into that growth mindset, knowing that anything is possible with the right timeline, passion, energy, knowledge, and grit. Okay, guys, so let's get into the money questions. I have a couple here. Let's see. I have a couple here. I will pull those up first, but if you guys have questions, we're not taking questions on TikTok, but if you guys want to head over to Instagram, you can put your questions there or put your questions in on Facebook. Seeing if there's any here. If you guys have any questions, let me know over in Instagram. Okay. Something that I get a question about all the time is, hey Nicole, I have an RRSP through my work. I have a 401k through my work. Do I need to be doing anything else for retirement? So if your employer sets you up with some sort of pension fund or something like that, do you need to do anything else to set yourself up for retirement? And the answer is maybe, okay? The first thing I want you to remember is that personal finance is personal. Everybody's personal situation is going to be different. So what we really want to do is look at what our goals for retirement are. What does our dream retirement life look like? And remember, that doesn't need to be, you're retiring at 65. That could be you want to retire at 40, at 55, at 35, whatever the fuck it is, okay? Start thinking about what your dream retirement life looks like. Where do you live? Where do you go? What are you doing? Are you still working part-time? Are you working for fun? Or are you not working at all? Are you traveling the world? Did you downsize? Do you live in a Winnebago? Do you take a cruise every weekend? Whatever it is, I want you to figure out what that dream looks like. Okay, just came up. I love that. If you have questions, honey, I can't help you here, so just email support@nobudgetbabe.com and we have a whole team that will be able to help you from the back end. Okay, so what was I saying? My ADHD. I'm like so thrown off now. Think about your dream life, okay? Plan out your dream life. Exactly what does that look like? And then I want you to figure out exactly how much that's going to cost you, okay? How much does your dream life cost you? And then work out what you're going to get from your employer pension, from your employer match, whatever it is. Work out what that's going to look like, the way that you have it set up right now, and then see if there's a shortfall. I think the biggest thing to remember when we're trying to figure out financial questions a lot of the times is that we're thinking in hypotheticals, but we just need to put some real numbers to it. We need to be able to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, okay? So we need to be able to look at, okay, how much money do we have in our pension, in our retirement fund, in whatever? How much do we actually need, okay? And I want you to break that down, and then you're gonna reverse engineer your goals, okay? I have a question here from Anne. What are some important points to bring up during the conversation about the promotion? I'm assuming you mean like a work promotion, hun, like if you're up for a promotion. I would look at this kind of a similar way to you looking at like negotiating a raise. I think it's really important for anyone to really be setting the stage beforehand, right? Because once we get to the table for that negotiation, for the promotion, for whatever the salary negotiation at like your end of year review or whatever it is, we need to have done a bunch of work beforehand to set ourselves up for success at that time right there. So we really need to have defined what the expectations are of us, like what the employer expectations are of us, and then how we can not only hit those expectations but exceed them and get buy-in from the higher ups. Hey, okay, I wanted to make sure that I'm understanding the role correctly, so you are looking for X, Y, and Z. Would it be correct to say if I did X, Y, and Z, that I would be meeting your expectations? Great, okay, well, how could I exceed your expectations? Because I'm looking to be excellent here. I want to be an excellent employee. I want to be a top employee. I love this job. How can I be the best, right? Like, let's work on this together. How can I be the best? Amazing, okay? You get buy-in, you get confirmation, and then you set yourself up so that when you have that conversation for that promotion or for that negotiation, you get to a point where it's like, hey, I've done all of these things. Look, all of these things that we talked about, I sent you updates and let you know what I was doing, so you're staying visible, right? And this is the biggest thing, especially working in like corporate or something, is fucking visibility, and it's so annoying because I hate corporate politics and bullshit, but visibility and the way that you appear is going to matter in some ways even more than what it is that you're actually doing, okay? So if you are doing these things and you are exceeding expectations, put it in a little report, send it off to your boss. Something that's really kind of important to know too is like, I have created so many jobs for myself, right? Like I never waited for jobs to be posted. I ended up joining this real estate team, and the way that I joined the team is I identified a team that I really, really wanted to work for. And then I pitched them on how I would be able to make them more money. Because I'm like thinking, okay, well, what do they want? They want to sell a lot of houses. How can I help them sell more houses? We can expand into another area that I am an expert in, right? And I went to them and I presented them with this business plan where I was like, hey, here's exactly how I can make you more money. And here's how it's going to be super easy for you to just bring me on and let me make you a bunch of money. Who is going to say no to that? Who is going to be like, nah, no thanks, right? Always be putting yourself in the employer's position. What do they want? I think so many times a lot of us make the mistake of focusing on us because we're like, okay, well, we want more money because we have student loans to pay for. I want more money because I have rent and it's fucking expensive. I want more money because I blah, 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 whatever. But it's important to remember that unfortunately what you want doesn't really matter. The employer doesn't care. The employer cares about what matters to them. So if you want to be successful in a negotiation with your employer, you need to figure out what is important to them, how you can give it to them, and how you can show them that you're going to give it to them, right? So if you identify that your boss is really overworked, how can you give them more time back? If you identify that the company is really, big on growing sales right now, how can you help them grow their sales? Identify their need and then show them how you are going to make that happen and then prove it, okay? And then when you go into that conversation to have the negotiation, to have the promotion, whatever it is, you have all of this proof, right? Because you've been communicating, hey, here's how I'm meeting and exceeding this expectation. Here's how I'm meeting and exceeding this expectation. So that when you go in, you're like, hey, remember all those emails that I sent you about how, all those reports about how I'm meeting and exceeding your expectations and making you all this money and blah, blah. Because there's nothing to argue about at that point, right? And then you're going in and you're seeking a compensation adjustment or an adjustment to your salary. We're not asking for a raise. We're asking for an adjustment based on the level of value that we bring to the company. So super important to remember that in terms of negotiation. If you guys have any other questions, you can pop them in the chat box here. I've been trying to look. Hello, Victoria. Hi, Melanie. Hello. Grace. Danique, amazing. Okay, I have another question from the Facebook group here. You're welcome, Ann. What is a high yield savings account? Okay. A high yield savings account, guys, is like quite literally the easiest way to make money. I make about $100 a month off of my personal high yield savings account. Now I have my short-term savings goals in there, and I also have my emergency fund in there. So don't think that you're gonna go and we're gonna get $100 a month from our high yield savings account. It's a percentage of how much you have in there. But as you are building it up, you're gonna make more and more money off of it. So this is like the easiest way to make money, guys. It's just putting your money in the right bank account. There's absolutely no risk to it. It's the exact same as a regular savings account. It just pays you more money. Okay, so at the very least, we need to have our short-term savings goals in there and our emergency fund in there so that it is fighting against inflation. And I know a lot of you are gonna be like, Nicole, the rates are fucking abysmal right now. And I know, I understand that. Something is better than nothing, so never poo-poo on free money. That is a rule of mine, never poo-poo on free money. And anything that we can do to help fight against inflation right now while keeping our money safe and preserved, right? Because in the short term, we don't want to be investing money that we need. We definitely don't want to be investing our emergency fund. So making sure that we have a way to fight against inflation while keeping that safe, making a little bit of extra money is the frickin' best. So essentially a high yield savings account is just a regular savings account that pays you more money. In Canada, I use EQ Bank. It is absolutely amazing. And in the US, I like Ally. Okay, I saw a question here. Jordan, I have a Robo Advisor that I use now. Does it make sense to have a Robo Advisor and a human advisor, or should I stick to one? I think it really depends on like what your goals are. I think also at the same time, like I would ask you, why do you have two different advisors? Are they for different goals? Is it because you didn't trust the Robo Advisor that you went and got like the, human financial advisor? Essentially, guys, for you guys watching this, there are kind of like three different ways that you can invest your money. You can invest your money with a financial advisor. This is going to be the most expensive option. You can invest your money with a Robo Advisor. This is like a financial advisor, but it's a robot kind of thing. It uses an algorithm and questionnaires to help you figure out where your money should be going. And invest all the money for you so you don't have to think. The only difference is you don't have access to like a human person. Depending on the brokerage that you use, some of them may have like a human person that you can ask questions to, but some of them may not. This is going to be less expensive than the human financial advisor. And then lastly, you can self-invest. So personally, I like self-investing because it is the cheapest option. And honestly, it is so much easier than you think. A lot of times we think that we need to go to a financial advisor or we need to use a robo-advisor because we don't trust ourselves, right? A lot of times we are overcomplicating things and we are getting anxious and we are getting nervous. If you are somebody who is an emotional investor, then do I recommend having a financial advisor? 100%. 100%. Because if you are somebody who buys the hype, who hears that Tesla is the hottest new stock and puts your entire life savings into it, if you are someone who sees the markets go down a little bit and then freaks out and sells at a loss, that is an emotional investor, right? Usually that means that you need to get some more education around what it is that you need to be doing. Because when we don't have all of the information and knowledge, investing can be super scary. It's really, really easy, but we need to just follow a few simple sets of like principles and rules and that kind of thing. So it's important to remember that we don't need to have the financial advisor, but if we're going to put ourselves in a position where we're not going to make good investing decisions without them, then yeah, 100% I think that we should have one. A Robo Advisor can be really great as well. So I have a Robo Advisor for my son's RESP. So it's an account here in Canada. My frickin' neighbor. Guys, I don't know if you've seen me post about my neighbor blowing leaves, but I don't know if you can fucking hear that now, but I'm like, I cannot. I literally need to move to the country in the middle of nowhere and never have a neighbor ever again. Every time I try to record something, he is literally blowing leaves. Okay, so I may end up ending this a little bit early because I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can't even hear myself think anymore. So yes, financial advisor can be great if you are somebody who makes emotional investing decisions. Robo Advisor, I have one for my son's RESP. It's an education savings plan here in Canada. Why? because I just don't want to think about it, and it just auto adjusts all of the stuff as it gets closer to his age. I was thinking about pulling it and then investing it myself. However, the brokerage that I use, Wealthsimple, doesn't have the ability to have an RESP in a self-directed account, which is super annoying. And they also don't have the ability to do automatic transfers into the RESP unless it's with their Robo Advisor, and it's just not something I want to think about right now. So for me, it just made more sense, but the rest of my investments are all self-directed. It can be as simple as buying and holding an index fund. It can be as simple as buying and holding an asset allocated fund, or buying a target date fund. And if you guys don't know what those are, that's okay. Don't worry. Remember, the more you expose yourself to this language, the more comfortable you're going to get with it, okay? So any one of those is good. Each one is going to be better for different kinds of people who have different kinds of goals. So it's important to think about why you're using them and what purpose it actually serves you. Again, there's nothing wrong with having both. Maybe you want to keep a little bit of money with a financial advisor because you want to have that kind of person to speak to ask if you have questions, because you don't want to take the time to, do all of your research and learn and get the knowledge and stuff right now. I think that's okay too. But what I want you to remember is, so many times we think that the financial advisor is doing something for us that we can't do ourselves. And in most cases, like I said, their benefit is in preventing you from making emotional investing decisions, okay? They're not building you a better portfolio than one that you can build yourself. And actually, you can build your own portfolio. I manage my own portfolio with like a half an hour to an hour a year. Like, I literally don't do anything, guys. It is so absolutely simple. You just need to learn the rules to good investing first, which is, invest for the long term. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Understanding the ups and downs to the market, and understanding that corrections and pullbacks are normal, okay? So it's important to think about all of those things. So that would be my advice for you, Jordan, is to go back and kind of think about why you have them, what purpose they're serving, and then, maybe you need to go back and do a little bit more studying on, investing and that kind of thing, to make sure that you are getting, making the investments and choices that are best for you. And this is another thing, guys, even if you work with a financial advisor, I think it's really, really important to make sure that you also still understand investing. It is not like, I'll just go to a financial advisor and trust them with everything, because I will tell you two stories very quickly. My parents, I told you earlier in the live, my dad hasn't worked for a long time. He was sick, he had cancer, there was some other things that happened. So he wasn't working. His work paid him out like this pension, and they were like, hey, you can have this money, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So he, went to the guy at the bank. I think this was like 20 years ago or something, or whatever. He went to the guy at the bank, and the guy at the bank said, yeah, we're gonna put in a GIC for you. So those of you who are watching in the US, that's similar to a CD, a certificate of deposit. Anyone who knows anything about investing knows that these are not long-term tools, okay? If you have an investing timeline horizon of like 20 years, you're not putting your money into a CD or a GIC, but this is what he was told to do. And I don't know under what premise, because again, this was 20 years ago, but he was told to put his money into this GIC, and it's been reinvested in this GIC for like 20 years, okay? He's lost out on essentially about $500,000 because he put that money in the wrong account, based on the advice that the guy at the bank gave him, okay? It is so important to remember that they may not know everything. They may not be a fiduciary, meaning they don't have the legal responsibility to tell you. I'm trying so hard to concentrate, and it's so fucking loud outside my window. They might not have the legal responsibility to put your best interests first, okay? There's been a lot of lawsuits against, big financial firms and mutual fund managers for doing kind of shady stuff. So I think we just need to understand not every financial advisor is bad, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need to make sure that we do our own research and that we have our own knowledge, so that we can sit at the table and have the fucking conversation, so that if you decide to go to a financial advisor and not invest on your own, that you can go and sit down and have that conversation. Because that $500,000, that $500,000, that's gone. My dad will never be able to make that back, because the way investing works is you either put in more money, which they did not have, or you give it more time, okay? And he had lots of time where it could have grown for him, but he was given bad advice and he didn't know any better, so that's what he went with, okay? And now he's at a point where he's in his 60s where he doesn't have that time anymore to allow it to grow. So super frustrating, right? Because if you think, well, there's so many other people that this has happened to. There's so many people who have gone to the bank and they've opened up an IRA or they've opened up a TFSA and they've put money into it, but the person at the bank has never explained to them that you need to actually invest that money, that just by putting it in that account, that money's not growing for you. It's just sitting in that account, okay? So it's important that you put the money in the account, choose the investments. Like, there's other things to do. So suffice to say, guys, make sure that you are doing your own research, that even if you go to a financial advisor, that you still are taking the time to learn about investing so you can sit at the table, have the conversation, and know what's happening with your fucking money, because that is your whole life, okay? That is your entire life. I'm gonna see if there's any other questions here. Let's see. Can't hear it. Amazing. That's all I can hear. I'm like, I think he's like, I don't know, breaking down trees or something. I cannot. Okay, Victoria, do you think it's better to open a traditional IRA or Roth IRA account through a Robo Advisor? Which type of account you choose depends on your tax bracket. So there's actually some really great calculators that you can use online. So you can go online and type traditional versus Roth IRA calculator, and what you do is you go in and you put all of your personal information in, and it is going to show you which one. Well, it'll tell you like the returns that you'll get, like what you'll end up with each different account, so it can help you decide which one's actually better for you. It usually depends on what your tax bracket is right now and what your tax bracket's going to be in the future, because the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA is simply when you pay the taxes. So when you have a traditional IRA, that means say you deposit $6,000 this year, that means you get to write off $6,000 on your taxes because you're using pre-tax dollars in a traditional IRA. So if you make $56,000 in a year, you deposit $6,000 to your traditional IRA, you get to write $6,000 off on your taxes, meaning the taxes that you pay are on $50,000, not $56,000, okay? But all of the growth in the traditional IRA is taxable, okay? With a Roth IRA, you are using post-tax dollars. So you are using money, so if you make $56,000 a year, you are paying taxes on $56,000 a year, whether or not you contribute to your Roth IRA. But all of the growth inside of the Roth IRA is tax-free. In most instances, from what I've seen with our students, the Roth IRA ends up being better, but personal finance is personal, so make sure that you are always going and running your own numbers and checking in with your own goals and thinking about, your tax bracket today, what tax bracket you might be in the future for retirement, and then choosing accordingly. Alicia, I'm going to take one or two more because I have another meeting coming up. How do I know what to put my investments in? I have the money in the account but don't know where to put it. I'm not even sure which stocks are multiples. It's so confusing. Also, I'm a student. Okay, number one, Alicia, remember that if this is the first time that you're doing this, if this is the first time or the first couple of times that you're hearing about this, no shame, no blame. If we are taught about money, if we are not taught about money, it is not our fault, okay? Money is a skill. The more you hear it, the more you're exposed to it, the more comfortable you're gonna get with it, okay? I can't tell you what to put your money into because it depends on your goals, your timeline, your tolerance to risk, okay? And that is going to depend on your entire financial situation, okay? Not just like how happy you are to see money go up and down in the account. What I would recommend to you is really making sure that you are learning everything you can about investing. Like I said, history of the stock market, the emotions of the stock market and how that impacts things. Diversification, and this is so easy, guys. It's so easy, but you need to go back and you need to learn it. Because going and choosing investments before you know what you need to know will be a surefire way to lose money. When I see people going and investing money before taking the time to really learn and immerse themselves in the learning process, they're putting their money all in one stock, okay? Which is a surefire way to set yourself up to lose money. They're putting their money into crypto. They are giving their money to, I don't know, some scam trader person. Like, I can't tell you how many people have been in my DMs like, oh my God, I sent $5,000 of Bitcoin to this random number. I'm like, but why? Please don't do that. Please, guys, do not do that. If you see anybody offering to like invest your Bitcoin for you, like, please do not do that. It is a scam. You need to learn everything you can about investing before you take the time to go and invest, because I don't want you to lose money. It is very easy, but you still need to learn. So whether that's through courses, we have amazing courses to help you. We have some freebies that teach you some basics. There are books, there are podcasts, there are YouTube videos. You can start with a financial advisor. The one thing about financial advisors too, guys, is I just want to remind you that, so a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, you know, the fee's only 2%, it's not that bad. And it may not seem like it's a lot, but at the end of the day, just a 1% difference in fees could mean 10 years less in retirement income, okay? One of our students came through our program. She went through the investing section the other day. Well, maybe this was like maybe a month or two ago. And we did a calculation for her where she was like, okay, this is what I was paying before in fees, and this is what I'm paying now. How much money am I actually gonna save? And she will be saving over $800,000 in her lifetime just by learning how to invest on her own, okay, guys? And that is not over-exaggerating. That is quite literally, just as your money will compound and grow for you, those fees will compound and grow against you and take away from your returns. Imagine you can make a 7% return a year, but you're paying 3% in fees. Well, now your return's not 7%, it's only 4%, right? And they're making that money whether or not you guys make money, okay? So please, I mean, if I can implore you to do anything, learn about investing, whether it's from me, whether it's from someone else. Remember, investing is not for the rich, it's how you get rich, but it's not only how you get rich, it is also how you build safety and security and stability for yourself. The average American is said to make $1.6 million in their lifetime, but is said to need $1.7 million to retire. Even if you saved every dollar you ever made, it would not be enough. Saving is not the answer, okay? Saving may have been good enough for our grandparents because they had fat pensions. Saving may have been okay for your parents because they, were part of the housing boom and now they're cashing out on their house. That's not our reality. We need to learn how to save and invest our money so that it can grow for us, because if we are only ever trading time for money, there's going to be a limit to how much we can make. And if we're only ever trading time for money, we will work until we die. And I don't want to be so fucking morbid with you guys, but I need to let you know like how serious this is. The earlier you start, the easier it is, okay? I think the numbers are like, you start at 20 and you invest $125 a month. That is enough to make you a millionaire. At 65, you're making like over $1 million in interest, over $1 million in free money just from putting your money in the right places, guys. It really does get to be that easy, but you need to take the time to learn, okay? So if you didn't know before, that's okay, but you need to take the time to learn now. Take that radical responsibility for your life. Everything can fucking change. I'm gonna do another question and then I'm gonna jump off of here. Universal life insurance, that's not my specialty, so I'm not going to touch on that. However, my understanding is it's very inefficient as a investing policy. So my understanding is that you are better off to just go and get a term policy and then invest your money outside of that. But I'm not an expert there, so do your own research for sure. Just checking here. I'm a student of making money moves. I love that! Yay, Alicia! Hello! Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through all of the things here. Okay, I think we are good. Before I sign off, we have 2 incredible programs, guys. If you're like, hey Nicole, I've taken the freebies, I am ready to level up. We have a program where you work with me for 3 months in the Making Money Moves program. That's what Alicia is in. You learn my entire process of going from $40,000 in debt to a $500,000 net worth in my 20s that has now grown to over $1 million at 30 years old. It is everything from mindset and self-sabotage and goal setting and values to all of the tactic like investing in the right accounts to use and how to increase your credit score and how to pay off debt. It is a total financial makeover, so you can find out more information about that on our website under Work with Nicole under Making Money Moves. If you take our freebie from Broke to Ballin or download our ebook, Making Money Moves Method ebook, it will give you more information about my methodology. I don't believe in budgets. I believe that a lot of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing is because of mindset and because of self-sabotage and that kind of thing. So I take a different approach, and because of this different approach, this is how so many of our students have been able to really change things. So that's amazing. Check that out. And we also have another program if you're like, okay, well, I've mastered all of the basics. I don't have any debt. I have great savings. I just need to know how to make this money grow. I'm thinking about starting a side hustle. I'm thinking about investing in REITs and mix and real estate and all of the things. We have another program that is called Income Multiplier that teaches you how to become an investor in real estate, in mortgage investment corporations, real estate investment trusts, all of the things. So that is amazing too. And you can find both of those on our website under Work with Nicole, because you would get to work with myself and the team personally for either 3 months or 4 months in the Income Multiplier program. It's amazing. Again, guys, if you haven't taken any of the freebies, if you are new here and you are just getting started, go. You're gonna have some time off over the Christmas holidays. You're gonna be sitting at home. Don't wait for this new year, new me bullshit, okay? Get on it now. Start working towards your dreams. You've got this. I believe in you. Thank you so much for being here. Mwah. Everybody have an amazing day. Bye. How do I log off of this? There we go. Bye, guys.